A subway system. Scene list. You scramble up a ladder and through an accessway where the sewer system spits you out into the Hong Kong Mass Transit Railway System, the MTR. Crossing the rails, you climb up to the platform and into the station. Above you is Heoi, where the rat shaman and the little decker plan to plead your case to kindly Cheng, the one woman they know who can help you get underground and off the grid fast, but there'll be a price. Cheng is a triad boss whose favors tend to come with strings attached. The sounds of a waterfront at night leak down from the stairway to the surface. Peering up the steps, you can catch a glimpse of the night sky, overcast and low. The sewers deposit you into a series of mechanical accessways that eventually link to a system of railway tunnels. Gubbet leads you through 5 or 6 magnetically sealed doors and across several sets of electrified tracks until she indicates you've reached your destination. She holds up her hand, indicating the surrounding platform. This is the MTR station for Heoi. Once you go up those stairs, you'll be in our neighborhood. Kindly Cheng runs her operation out of a mahjong parlor. They're called Swift Winds. Wu rips off his goggles. There's an APB out on us. How do you expect us to go to this Swift Wind place without taking a bullet? Heoi is well known as a protected area. Kindly Cheng sees to that. It's a shadow community, smugglers, hijackers, black marketeers. You get the idea. Cops tend to give the place a wide berth. Isabel gives a shallow nod. Her gaze remains planted on the floor. Police cameras don't last long here. Between the smog and the cloud cover, we shouldn't have to worry about drone surveillance either. The HKPF won't find you. Not if you follow our lead. Cobbett widens her stance, puts her hands on her hips. Now, here's how this is going to work. You can't get an audience with Cheng until we secure you an invitation, so me and Is will go on ahead and pay our respects. Then we'll request that she see you. Politely. So how do we get the invitation? The rat shaman smirks. We'll kiss her ass until it shines. Isabel sighs. That's about the size of it. Cobbett holds up a hand. One more thing. Kindly Cheng is a dangerous woman. She may seem friendly, but don't let your guard drop, and whatever you do, do not disrespect her. Got it. She drops her hand, nods to the three of you. That's it. We'll go ahead and smooth the way. Just give us a few minutes head start, and don't talk to anyone. If the place is protected, why shouldn't we talk? She rolls her eyes and lets out a single little grunt. I said the place was protected, not you're protected. Isabel fiddles with her deck. No one knows you're here. An outsider and outsiders aren't welcome in Heoi. Cobbett eyes woo up and down. Plus your friend here radiates cop. Cops are even less welcome than outsiders. And you're not exactly ordinary either, are you? I like to think I have a certain flair. He smiles for the first time. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. If people see us strolling through town together with no prior explanation, we might not make it to the mahjong parlor at all. Yeah, thanks for the help. She squints at you, confused. We're helping ourselves as much as we're helping you, Seattle. We need your sins burned as badly as you do, and we need to figure a way out of this shit, or we're all dead. Plus, we could use the muscle right now. Isabel's voice turns sheepish. Just saying. She quickly turns away. See you at the mahjong parlor. Shadowrunner's footsteps quickly fall away, and then you're alone with Wu. He grunts something unintelligible and begins panther stalking back and forth again. Footprints of sewer water and muck marking his path on the subway platform behind him. Minutes pass. Wu stops his pacing and runs both hands over his face, groaning a sound of anxiety and disgust. It dissipates and he stands there silently, his hands covering his face and his shoulders shaking with emotion. And he begins to laugh. It's a laugh that comes from deep down, from the place where fear and frustration and impotence swirl. But the barrier holds. Wu focuses, taking control of his breath, and his laughter begins to slow. He becomes himself again. My God, Bob. An aftershock of laughter shatters through him. Are you fucking kidding me? What the hell are we doing here? How did we get into this? He drops his hands and turns to you, shaking his head in disbelief. I think I'm gonna lose it. Go ahead, we're alone. Who walks to the wall of the subway station silently? He stands there a moment lost in thought, and then his fists explode in a flurry of punches. He hits the wall hard, sending plaster clumping on the floor at his feet. The orc breathes heavily for a moment, head down, hands on hips, spent. Carter is dead, Bob. They fucking ended her. He puts a hand to his forehead. I don't know what I'm gonna do now. Sounds like she was more than just your partner. He turns to you with a blank face. More than just a partner. Of course she was. And he gets it, and his hackles raise. He was my training officer, you idiot, my mentor. Looked like you two were close. Who weighs you off with a gnarled hand? Carter was my partner. She had my back. Do you get how important that is? What it means to lose that? When you are out there on the streets facing down a food riot, you need to know someone's looking out for you. That you're standing next to someone you can depend on. That was Carter. His shoulders slump and he exhales heavily. And she was like my compass, my anchor, or some such shit. She kept me, I don't know, sane. Sounds like a good woman. Don't patronize me, Bob. He steps back, sucking a deep breath. Screw it. Whatever she was, I'm throwing her down the memory hole. You know why? He snarls and spits. Because it doesn't matter now. Because we're gonna burn our sins, Bob. Jesus Christ, do you get what that means? The moment we do that, we're dead. To all the world, we are dead. We're wiped clean. He counts it off on his fingers. Raymond, the house we grew up in, my career, Carter, all gone. No home, no money, no identity, nothing. He waves his hand, brushes it all away. We will be nobody. We were street kids, Duncan. We're used to being nobodies. Just chill. Chill? Who the fuck are you to tell me to chill after what just happened? And you aren't losing what I'm about to lose either. Our paths went in different directions a long time ago. Whose neck cranes forward, his lower jaw thrust out ahead of him. You left me behind, goddammit! You left me behind! You left me behind. Memories flash bright. Suddenly you're back 8 years ago on the streets outside of Raymond's house. It's you and Wu in the middle of the night. I suppose this is as good a point as any to go to a flashback. Young Duncan. You can't just leave like this, Bob. What am I gonna say to Raymond? You know how he is. Yeah, I know how he is. Inflexible. Exactly. We're breaking one of his rules, just being outside the house after curfew. What's so important that you have to run out now, in the middle of the night, without even telling Raymond? Why? He's distraught. You can see it on his face, hear it in his voice. He used to be lost without you. True, 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 true. So we basically get to make our own story. Hmm. I've got a friend in a bind, Duncan. That's all I can say about it. I have to go help. His eyes widen. I thought I knew all your friends. He shakes his head. I don't like this, Bob. It sounds like the kind of shit we said we'd leave behind. Look, whatever is going on, I can tell you one thing. Raymond will not approve. I know. What do you think I'm sneaking out? Be back before the weekend. You remember the look on Duncan's face as he walked away. The events that followed were a blur. One that you don't care to remember. 3 days later, you were behind bars in a private corporate prison. No interrogation, no charges, no appeal. Years later, some corporation bought some other corporation and the new board of directors pushed through some sort of reform agenda and the higher-ups gave an order. And then you were out, with few hundred new yen to your name and one scary as hell non-disclosure agreement ensuring your silence. Not that it mattered to you anymore, you were starting fresh, determined. Until Raymond tracked you down, left you that voicemail, brought you to Hong Kong and back together with Duncan Wu. You realize that the Wu's been staring at you. Now let's hear it. Where the hell have you been all this time? Why didn't you contact me? At least tell me you were alive. I was locked up tight. Corporate black site. No communication. No shit. He squints at you. Full lie detector mode. Oh fuck. I had no idea. A range of emotion plays across Wu's face. He stares at the ground for some time before finally looking back up at you with a heavy sigh. Wow. I really don't know how to process that one right now. He shakes his head. I don't know. If we're still alive tomorrow, we can talk more. This shit is too much. We're marooned on this island, hunted by the cops. My partner is dead, Raymond is missing, and we're about to go see a crime lord about erasing our goddamn identities. And as a bonus, our only allies are a pair of tiny criminals who would kill us if they could, so they didn't have to deal with this. He rubs his head viciously. Listen, Bob. Back in the Barrens, whenever I was out of control, you just handled the situation, remember? With Carter gone, I'm just raw nerve. Afraid I'm gonna slip back and people are gonna start getting hurt again. I got your back. He stares at you hard, like he's trying to see something inside your head. His voice comes out flat. We'll see. Just don't press it. I need time to get used to you. Now let's go meet this Dryad woman and get our damn sins burned. I want to rip off the bandage as fast as I can. Makeshift boats de-lash onto the Kai Tak riverfront. Behind you a massive snarl of dark, derelict high-rises dominates the horizon of walled city. I suppose we should try to go to our target as quickly as possible instead of screwing around too much. Insulation on these heavy wires is cracked. They buzz and crackle occasionally as ray drips from anything strikes. Smuggler. Just off the docks, you spot a sea-worn man with a smile that's almost too wide for his head. His teeth shine white against the thick black brush of his beard. His clothes are a myriad of colors, patterns, and fabrics. A smattering of culture straight across his body. If there's anything he's clearly advertising, it's the extent of his travels. You see something you like? His voice is coarse, like steel wool on your eardrums. Come and get it, because now's your last chance. Everything is on sale. Won't find prices like these anywhere else, my friend. Well, we're not really interested in weaponry. We should buy a fetish. Okay, I'd like to buy something better if I can. Do have how much do we have? About 1,000, 1,200. Mahjong Park. You can feel every eye in the room as you cross the mahjong parlor to the middle-aged woman sitting patiently at its end. The click-clack of ivory-colored tiles stop. Hands stray beneath tables, into jacket pockets behind backs. The woman has the face of a prison guard and the demeanor of an inmate. Her salt and pepper hair is pulled into an iron-hard bun, and beneath it, two shiny black eyes offer nothing. Buttons sewn on a doll. A nearly empty bottle of something foul rests on her mahjong table, nestled between a pair of dirty shot glasses. Tiny puddles of brown linger at their bottoms. Cobbett and Isabel stand on the other side of the table, heads lowered, shoulders slumped, hands clasped. They risk a frightening glance at you as you approach. Finally Cheng's voice is nasal and rusty mean. My little pair of fuck-ups here told me all about what happened on the docks. She dips a pinky into a shot glass, brings it to her mouth, removes it with a sharp smack. How two of my best runners had their heads put out. How you need protection, and how you need to get your identities wiped before you get your heads put out too. Potentially leading the heat to my front door, placing me and everyone in my employ in danger. She fingers the rim of her glass. So wise, so very, very wise. The young shaman's eyes never leave the floor. We're sorry, Auntie, we thought... The black eyes flash. You mustn't speak until you're spoken to, Gubbet, dear. The smile turns mean. And see, since you are one short hair away from being dumped in the river, chained to Isabel's corpse, I suggest you let your new friends here do the talking for a while. Does that make sense to you, dear? Her triacal voice is back, sweet, nasal, and grinding. Dark circles ring Gubbet's armpits. Yes, Auntie. Cheng inclines her head gently. Very good. You learn so quickly. Remain silent. Let's not interrupt. He pours another drink. Her cheeks are rosy, already flushed. Now, my darlings, I understand from little rat shit here that you came from Seattle to meet with my client, Mr. Black. Who still tightens at the word client. But before you could find him, the HKPF started splattering grey matter everywhere and everything went to shit. And now you need your sins burned so you can disappear before you end up dead too. Is that right? Yes, ma'am. Very good. Why don't we start with you telling me who you are? Uncle Bob. Oh, you're already chosen a street name. How prescient? How do you say that? S-C-I-E-N-T. Scient? Prescient? Jane looks at you approvingly. Uncle Bob, that's a good name. Has real character. She flutters her eyelashes at you. Now, what's your real name? I mean, you do want me to erase your identities, don't you, dear? I'll need to know who you are first. Bob, I do what needs doing. He rests her chin on her hand. I know the type. And how did you become someone who does what needs doing, Bob? Well, I don't see any reason to lie. I mean, I see this just complicating things. Pick it up young. I've been in the cooler for a few. Whose brow furrows and he shakes his head. I still can't believe it. Natalie Cheng whips her head towards Wu, a nasty retort already on her lips, but then she stops, sticks out her lower lips as she sizes him up. He turns to her lieutenant standing behind her, nodding her approval. Looks like the gun show is in town. What's your name, gun show? Whose focus remains straight ahead. Duncan Wu, I'm a cop, Lone Star. I hear there were some fresh corpses found on the docks tonight. Smugglers, I believe. Didn't sound like the Hong Kong police when I heard about it. You're doing, Duncan Wu? Wu's eyes remain fixed on a spot on the wall behind her. He smolders. I identified myself as Lone Star, but they wouldn't stand down. They had weapons. It was self-defense. She puckers her lips at him, her voice sing-song. I don't care, sweetie. They weren't my people. But now I know you're a life-taker, Mr. Gansho. You and your friend here. She begins arranging mahjong tiles on the table in front of her. But now I'm curious, why were you meeting Raymond Black on the docks tonight? Raymond Black is our foster father. That makes her pause. Then lifts her bottle of swill and eyes the label, connecting the dots in her own head. Interesting. A look of disgust passes over her face. Sorry kids, but he was looking like shit when I saw him. Eyes half open, dark circles around them, tracking his feet, the whole bit. She tisks in displeasure. Your foster daddy was in a bad place. Sounds like he wasn't sleeping. Could be. From what he said, it sounded like he was having nightmares. He would stop in the middle of a sentence and mutter something to himself. One time it was about the walls breathing or something. Another time it was about teeth. Thousands of teeth. I remember him drifting off near the end of our meeting. It looked like he was off somewhere else in his head. He said, I left prosperity in there. Then Nightjar put his hand on Mr. Black's shoulder. I asked him why he wanted to go into the walled city so badly. That seemed to bring him back. When your old man opened his eyes, they were full of tears. Then he muttered something else I couldn't make out. She pours herself another shot, tosses it back, and rubs her belly. Your daddy got really irritating after a while. What do you think it means? I have no fucking clue. She grabs a long, slim cigar from a pack on the mahjong table, lights it. Alright, let's get to it. She exhales smoke and points two fingers at you and Wu. You two need your sins burned, and you need them burned fast. Hong Kong dragnets are bad news. When they roll in force. Armored personnel carriers, heavy armor, heavy weapons, sorcerers, the whole thing. And they aren't coming to arrest you. She folds her arms across her chest. Thin cigar bobs in her mouth as she speaks. The good news is I can help you. With a wave of my hand I can have your sins disappear. But you need to understand, my darlings, is that what you're asking for is not a simple request. Burning a sin isn't just deleting a number, it's wiping all reference to that number from all of the world's largest databases. It's masking your mugshot in their facial recognition database so that the first camera you walk past doesn't bring them down on you like a ton of bricks. It is covering our fucking tracks so that the act of burning your sins doesn't lead them right to us. It requires contacts in numerous corporations and the UCAS government. Smoke rolls out of the triad boss's nose. It requires someone like me. Therefore, I need to make a choice. She takes another drag on her cigar and gently places her palm flat on the table. Do I kill you and dispose of your bodies before the cops come looking for you? Or do I help you burn your sins? Okay, we'll go with the etiquette gang. If I were you, I'd be more interested in protecting my rep. Two of your people were just clipped. If you don't do something about it, it's a show of weakness. Ching rests her chin on her hand again and smiles at you coldly. So clever, so clever. Her chin stays on her hands, but her eyes look past you, surveying the yellow lotus soldiers in the room. Yes, I have been placed in a delicate situation, haven't I? Regardless, That's the situation, whether you're alive or you're sucking dirt. She stares at you for a long moment, chin still on hand, thinking, taps her ash on the floor without taking her eyes off you. A low, reluctant growl rumbles somewhere deep in her throat. You live. You're clever, and I like that. I'll put your sins to the torch. However, I'll need to call in several valuable favors within my network to do it, and those favors do not come cheap. Frankly, Cheng stops out her cigar. You will owe me. What do you want us to do? I want you to deliver a message for me, a business associate in the walled city. The Yellow Lotus has a strong presence inside, Bob. Isabel can tell you all about it, can't you, dear? Isabel grew up in the walled city. Isabel's eyes remain lowered. They collect taxes for the corporations, extort protection money from shopkeepers, run drugs, guns, people. They hurt people. We do those things, yes. But to be fair, we also operate the walled city's black market. You might not be alive today if it weren't for the lifeline that we provide. Isabel climbs up tight. Cheng picks up a mahjong tile and turns it with her fingers. There's a red pole, a sort of enforcer, yes, on the inside. His name is Strangler Beo. Beo is a strong man, good soldier, but he has forgotten his place. I need you to remind him. Want us to make an example of him? Did I say that I wanted you to make an example of him? No, I want you to deliver a message. She tosses you a memory stick. Bring this to him in my name, and remember that Bael's men are my men. By right, they should all be serving me. Killing them would be a waste of resources. I have no use for dead soldiers. She turns to Gobet and Isabel. One of you will go with these two Westerners to the walled city, help them locate Bael and show them the ropes. The other will remain here with me. I have several menial and degrading tasks that need doing around the establishment. No matter who goes and who stays, you'll both pay for bringing an APB to my doorstep. Yes, Auntie. Yes, Auntie. Now, I'm going to find out who ordered the hit on Nightjar and do some dentistry on him with power tools. She closes her eyes and smiles with pleasure. That boy was my favorite. He sang to me sometimes. She opens her eyes again and sneers. That other one I don't care about. Gutshot was an asshole. She turns away and waves you all with the back of her hand. That'll be all, my darlings. Return to me when you are done. Yep, we're also just gonna leave. Enter the walled city, deliver the message to Strangler Bale. I do have a few extra karma points. 11, that's quite a bit. Okay. Willpower and charisma will be things we want to develop further. Spirit summoning. Spirit control, or I could go... Try to see where would get additional weapon slots. So close combat or quickness? No thanks. Spirit summoning is probably the most important stat, because it determines how powerful of a spirit we can summon. Willpower has some benefit to it, because I don't think Shaman has abilities like heal, so a little bit of willpower would be great, even for nothing else to get some kind of a spell or two on the willpower side. Increase the spellbook slot if not yet unlocked. You need certain level of willpower to get access to spells. An extra spells book slot certainly won't hurt. No. Where am I spending these points? Spirit summoning. No, I'll take more charisma at the moment. Corporate, socialite, Shadowrunner, academic. So the gang will help to deal with the triad. Security, maybe help here and there. Shadowrunner socialization might be good to basically deal better with our other two new squad mates. But corporations are usually what we have to deal with, so a little bit of extra knowledge there wouldn't hurt. Academic and socialite, I don't know. It's very unlikely that we'll have all that much use for them, considering the situation we're in. I think I'll stay at 500 points. I need to know what spells that are available actually need, stats-wise. Spirit summoning is a strong focus. Higher the skill, the more powerful the summoned spirit. And that's the thing. We basically need to see shopping options before we get to decide the rest of the karma. Is it going to go to spirit summoning or is it going to go to willpower? I want the healing spell. I'm basically a support character. I'll buff, I'll heal, I might be able to contribute some damage through my summoned creatures. If we take willpower, we do have access to major spells. The problem is, willpower determines our chance to hit, and if we don't have all that high of a chance to hit, we're not going to be able to do damage anyhow, and if we have the spells. The original name has been sloppily painted over with black paint. Newer but somewhat weathered characters have been painted in bold brush strokes, and read Bolt Hole. Can I go in? No. We might not have too many shopping opportunities. Still, you would think this is a place. Frederick Cafe. That's close enough, friend. The club is members and invites only. I suggest you just move along. Hmm, gotcha. We certainly don't need any extra trouble at the moment. The thug taps his earpiece, gestures with his head. Auntie Cheng said you'd be coming. You can pass. Choosing your team. When traveling to new mission locations, you will be able to choose which members of your team to bring and modify their loadout for the run. If members of your team become permanently incapacitated on a mission, they'll be automatically extracted for emergency medical care. They will be patched up and ready for action the next time you return to Haley. Avoid this loss of firepower by always carrying some dark and trauma kits into the field. Hmm. We'll take Isabel. I mean, she was born there anyway, or at least lived there as a young, and she brings something new to the team. Mini grenade launcher, holy shit. They're proximity mines basically. What the hell am I looking at the moment? Cupboard. How do I don't want to look at the cupboard. Yeah, I can't look at here, I need to look at here. Uh, Cuphead has everything I want to have, but shit. Yeah. You're about to travel to the Walled City, continue. Yes. So it seems like we're in a very much in a setup phase of the game. Not much is happening gameplay wise. Just a lot of talk and setup. I suppose the start is good enough though. But I do wish that the game gets to actually something happening sooner rather than later. Kowloon Walled City. The most densely populated spot on Earth, nearly 40,000 people crammed into 7 acres of chaos, poverty, disease, and vice. A self-contained city that collects no taxes and provides no city services. Stagnant water sits in temporary wells. Trash piles piled on roofs for controlled burns. Improvised structures lean dangerously over populated areas. It's the ideal breeding ground for all manner of illicit trade, drugs, gambling, black market trade, meta-human trafficking, and everything in between. The only law is triad law. And now you need to enter this septic system of a city, find a triad enforcer named Strangler Bayo, and deliver a message from Kindly Cheng. We have no extra equipment, so eh, I'm sort of disappointed we couldn't get to actually buy spells or something, because this sucks. hopefully we can do some shopping here. Heal is the big thing. Currently no one in the team heals. Foul, oily water rains down from above, mixes with the filth and offal and swill of the streets, turns it into a flowing slurry of unrecognizable sewage. In the distance, the sounds of back-alley activity add to the ambience at your arrival. Breaking glass, the cracking hiss of a garbage fire, faint screams of terror punctuated by the occasional gunshot, sex and business and violence and misery blending into one. Who winces at the stink, waves a hand in front of his face? Raymond said that is in the walled city. I don't see it. Why the hell would he want to set one foot in this place?
Who knows? He'd have to be insane to travel to the walled city, as I think we said. It's the worst slum in the Eastern Hemisphere, maybe the worst in the world.
She does her best to suppress a shudder. Can't keep the dread from creeping into her voice.
Can't believe I grew up here.
Sorry to have to drag you back. Isabel looks around her, closes her eyes.
I could have brought Gobbet instead. I would have been cool with that.
She peers up at the catwalks and sky bridges that connect the rotting tenements, sagging architecture. Frowning, she points to a spot in the distance.
There was a market over there when I was a kid. Might not be a bad place to start.
I thought you knew where to find Strangler Bayo.
I do. We need to get into the Lotus Den. That's what Bayo calls the little island of control that he's carved out for himself here. It's a stupid name, but it's stuck. He'll have guards posted at every entrance, but we might be able to find a way around them through the market. That's what Kindly would prefer.
They probably aren't expecting anyone to come in force. We can kick in the door, drop the guards, hand over the message and get the hell out.
Kindly doesn't want them dead. She wants them to remember where their loyalties lie. It's tough to remember much of anything when you've got a bullet in your head. I mean, we could kill them if you really wanted to, technically. Bao is the only one that has to live. But I'd rather keep Auntie Cheng happy than piss her off again.
We may need Kindly Cheng, but she doesn't own us. We make our own decisions.
That's a good headspace to stay in.
Glad you think so. Now let's get this done. Not kill any yellow lotus. Okay, we'll try not to kill. We have enough enemies. What I would like to get to is the market. Seriously, I'd like to either get more fetishes or better spells. Healing spell at the minimum. Hopefully won't need it, but a putrid stench emanates from the remains of this building, using nothing that could cause it. A bedraggled old woman looks up from her sewing and at the sound of your approach.
Clothing, have good quality clothing for sale.
Ever heard anyone say prosperity is in the walled city? She cocks her head like a dog listening to a noise that it can't understand. Prosperity? She sounds it out to herself. I don't know what that means. Okay, any news? Interesting here. No, nothing changes here. Nothing changes. She settles her weight in an audible harum. Strangle Bear is the big man now. He is very important, very impatient. You know Beo. We'd love to meet him. Well, he requested a suit, and it took only 1 day longer than expected. Pastor refused to accept it. She spits. You see your friend Beo, you tell him that he still owes me for my time. I don't sue for nothing, you can't eat air. We'll get right on that. He nods sagely. You see that you do. Now, what else do you want? Apparently we didn't want anything. Surely there's a shopkeeper. Bloodied woman. Oh shit. I think this is gonna be trouble. This is going to be the point where the game teaches us not to help every stranger. A young woman lies on the ground. She is a bloody mess. Streaks and spatters of crimson crisscross her blouse and match her hair. Judging by the quality of her clothing and the bag on her shoulder, you'd make her out as a student. She is as out of place here as a librarian would be in a game of urban brawl. She struggles to move, but she's clearly exhausted. Dark circles under her eyes tell you that she hasn't slept in days. When the woman sees you heading her way, her face hardens. You see her hand slip into her jacket pocket, but as she studies your face, the fear in her eyes gives way to curiosity. You guys don't look like you're from around here. A hacking cough shakes her, but her eyes remain fixed on you. You either. Who are you? I'm a student at HKU. She glances around watchfully over your shoulder, at the building looming above her, into windows nearby. Doing some research. Kind of finished before I can leave. What kind of research? Fieldwork. Okay, etiquette academic. Yeah, it seems like a stretch to put these encounters, but at the same time I'm happy they are putting them, so if someone chooses it, it's not going to be totally wasted. Fieldwork. I've been taking readings and gathering stories for my master's thesis on Feng Shui in the Sixth World. What does Feng Shui have to do with the slum? Everything, I think. Absolutely everything. Rich people hire geomancers to design the interiors of their homes, attune them just right to achieve balance and harmony. Poor have nothing like that. Leave a slum to fester long enough and you get this. She glances at her surroundings, a look of profound disgust on her face. I think the negative feng shui of places like this affect the people who live here, that it changes them in a fundamental way, makes them less capable of breaking the cycle and getting out. That's what I'm trying to prove. Before the awakening, people thought of feng shui as a philosophical system. Now, in the Sixth World, it's more than that. It's actually a form of magic. The whole thing revolves around Qi, the invisible life energy that binds every person and thing together. It's very real here in Hong Kong. Nobody knows the reason why. Maybe it's only real because people believe that it is. The important thing is, it's measurable, quantifiable phenomenon. There's an entire industry that's grown up around it. This doesn't look like a place where people are harmonized with anything. No, it isn't. Not at all. Feng Shui in the walled city is completely screwed. Screwed. I mean, just
Look at the place. She gestures at the squalor surrounding you. The key is all wrong here. You can feel it, right?
I felt something was wrong the minute I walked in. Bad key, huh?
Qi needs to flow. Positive Feng Shui allows that to happen. If Qi gets pinned up and trapped, it goes sour. That's what's happening here.
The woman clears her throat, then lets out a hacking cough. The effort requires a moment for her to recover before she speaks again.
You know, I hate to admit it, but I could use some help. I started running well, I guess you'd call it an experiment of sorts. Nothing conclusive, as just a few quick trials to support my hypothesis before I go into hardcore data gathering mode. There are only a few things left to do. If you could finish them for me, I could get out of here.
He holds out a crumpled piece of paper.
Please follow the notes on this sheet.
Duncan takes the paper from her outstretched hand and examines it, frowning. This is what you need us to do.
I need you to make adjustments to the area's feng shui. My notes will tell you how. The goal is to remove sources of friction and to record the results. My hypothesis is that even small adjustments can make a measurable impact on key flow. If I'm right, it should improve, and life here should get just a little bit better.
Yeah, you rest. I'll take care of it. Optional, repair the walled city. Can I get to the shopping part? What exactly does it read? To notice a list of repairs, most of them crossed off. There are some left scrawled in an uneasy hand. Sparkling wires, trinket man. Broken water shut off, lower level. Burning tires, past market. I'm sure the game will go out of its way to point them out for us. I'd really like to get to the market. The street vendor gestures toward a jumbled pile of tarnished chains, costume jewelry, and trinkets on a stained flannel blanket. Look at these beauties. Very valuable, very pretty. Okay. Ever heard anyone say prosperity is in the walled city? No. He shakes his head. That's not something that someone would say around here. Oh, fetishes. Very expensive fetishes. I'd like to see spells first. See you around. Wires are sparkling dangerously just above the doorway. Hey, Isabel, can you fix this?
Sure, it's just basic electrical work. I patch cables in my deck all the time.
A quick patch job with some nearby waste rubber leaves the wire safe once more. Yellow Lotus Captain. I really don't want to stick my nose there. This market stall has been picked clean, its owner replaced by a pool of dried blood. Well, that's where we really need to go. Good, good. Spiritual energy. A pile of filthy rags lies heaped on the ground. A man's shirt, encrusted with dried blood and grime. A swelling sensation behind your eyes tells you that something is bound to the cloth, a spirit of some kind. You could use your abilities to beckon it out of the rags if you wanted to. Sure. The air above the blood track shimmers. Slowly, something close to man-shaped coalesces into being. A soft voice echoes out from deep inside, as if it began somewhere else. Forlorn spirit. What is this? Spirit peers at you through eyes as soft and undefined as poached eggs. Where am I? Kowloon, the world city. His expression changes, moves from lost to found. Still? Raises its hand to examine them, blank eyes sweeping over her dead flesh. Oh! What is the last thing you remember? The last thing? The spirit reaches. The spirit searches the sky for an answer. I was pushed out of my shop, hunted through alleys. Spirit mouth widens in horror. Beo, Beo and his men. I wouldn't pay them, wouldn't accept their protection. Proud. I was too proud. Cold light flares from somewhere deep its throat. They tore me apart, butchered me like a duck. They searches the sky, the ground, tearing at the memories inside itself as it relives its own death. A network of deep cuts opens in its waxy skin, spattering black ichor on the ground. Cold light within it glows brighter, pulses up the thing's throat and into its mouth, forcing its jaw to unhinge like a snake's. A burning radiance pours out of the spirit's mouth, like vomit spattering to the ground in an ectoplasmic flood of anger and despair. Maybe you can help us. Help? It looks confused, lost. I can? You can get us past Beo's guards into the walled city so we can find him. Spirit's eyes roll in its head and it shudders, struggling to let the passion dissipate. I had a friend. It squeezes its eyes shut as it struggles to remember. A smuggler of animals. He had a space, hidden, secret. Yes, Spirit, tell me about the secret space. An entrance into the sub-levels. Spirit clasped its head in its hands. A tube, a door, red paint, numbers. 5465. 5465. Thank you, Spirit. Entity squeezes its eyes shut and turns away, repeating the numbers. Yes. So I guess we've made our choice at this point. Still, where exactly do we need to go? This looks like a dead end, and it looks like if we go there we're just gonna end up in a fight. Well, maybe we can go past him. I mean, we don't necessarily want to go past that. You come upon a heavily muscled triad soldier screaming at a bearded old man holding a bleeding nose. The punk wags a cheap, disposable cred stick in the old man's face. This? The bright plastic case would look cheerful if it weren't smeared with blood. This isn't enough. You've got two options, old man. You can find a way to pay me all the money, or you can drag your bony ass deeper into the wall. Find a spot for yourself there, with the pimps and the predators. They should find a nice use for you, your choice. Old man wails. It's not fair! I can't just pack up and leave. I've been living here 22 years and Is this how it's going to be? He rolls his burly shoulders. Fine by me. He's out cold. These tires have been set aflame and have been burning for some time. Smells awful. We don't have a means to actually putting it out. Sand. Okay. Lower levels. Yeah, doesn't look like we get to buy spells. What's the third one? I think it was in the Undercity. Door with red graffiti nearby. Broken water shut off valve, lower levels. Oh, we need to go there. There are more shops here. That's probably the smugglers then. Maybe. It was red graffiti. I don't really see any red graffiti here. Maggots churn within stews of unidentified something. I wish I could alter the fading speed of those. I can barely read them usually. If I try to speak them out loud, simply I don't have the time. Can't run. Okay. I'll see if I can do the secondary mission and maybe find the spell seller, then end it there. A tubby man with twice broken nose glances up at you from a pile of gun parts. He offers you a gap-toothed smile. Nice firearms here, good for protection. You got a husband or wife? You got kids? You keep them safe with one of these beauties. Quality is guaranteed. Your satisfaction is everything. You want to buy? Prosperity is in the walled city. He snores his reply. If you're an organ licker, or a gun runner, or a triad, there sure as shit is. Otherwise, you're looking at a hand-to-mouth, meal-to-meal existence. You have nothing interesting. So we need to find some kind of water valve. There has to be a magic cellar somewhere. I wonder what happens with the door panels. The door is secured by a lock with badly dented keypad. The keys themselves are deeply scored, as though somebody had gone to work on them with a penknife. Very likely to end up in a fight if we try to break in. So Let's see if we can do things without getting into fighting. This has to be the water. This old rusted water valve might be able to close off the flow of water that's pouring out of the broken pipe. Okay, Duncan, can you give me a hand with this? Duncan steps up to the valve. Sure thing, shouldn't be too hard. Flow water ceases. Less clean water will run off into the streets now. Armageddon, the whole point. Ah, really, couldn't there be just a spell seller somewhere? I mean, you would play a mage, you would have nothing to buy so far. Not really. Low Lotus Enforcer. So shit. Okay, I guess we are not gonna be able to do the shopping. I don't want any trouble, boss. He exhales sharply. Please, just leave me be. Fine, fine. We'll report our success with Feng Shui and leave it at that. One of the locked doors. Has to be the smugglers. Is it done? It's done. Thank you. Thank you so much. The young woman sighs with relief. She opens the flap on her satchel, reaches inside and produces a plastic sheet. I'm not magically active, so I can't see the flow of ki in the area. I've got test strips, little sheets of paper embedded with ki-sensitive bacteria. It's a close relative to FAB, but it doesn't see much use outside of Hong Kong. She pulls a strip out of her sheath and folds it to the air. Within seconds, it turns ink black. She lets out a dejected sigh, her eyes shifting from the strip to her watch to the strip again. She looks utterly defeated. Damn it! I've been making adjustments for weeks now, trying to get the key to circulate better, and nothing seems to work. If anything, this one went bad even faster than the control strips I took when I got here. Any idea why? No, it should work. I've followed the text, done everything right. The key here is rancid, that's obvious, but I swear, it's even worse than it should be. No wonder this place is so disgusting. The student paused and raised her head in her hands. That's it. I'm getting out of here in a little while. Better tell my advisor about this. Thanks for the help. Hope you don't stay long. I sure as hell won't. So didn't go anywhere. Got an extra point of karma out of that, so that's something. And also maybe revealed a little bit about the nature of this place. Something's producing bad karma here. You had... yeah. Powerful fetishes, but we are trying to avoid fighting anyway, so I don't think we're gonna need them. Might end up fighting a little bit, but we have 3 guys, two that are fairly combat capable, and even with my shitty selection of spells, I still have the haste, so I can buff them a little, maybe make a difference. And the question is, do we want to break into this place? This is not where we need to go. At the same time, it could be an interesting place to visit. Especially since we don't have we haven't really found any interesting loot, not even minor things, any interesting information, anything. We haven't had too many options so far, and the game certainly hasn't been too fast to get going. So I guess we might as well poke our nose into every place. We can always load if it's something we really don't want to start. The Triad is the only faction we don't want to fight with. Everything else is okay in my book.